So, technology, one of my favorite subjects. And I guess the question this morning that I want to ask you is, are you ready for 2023 as far as your technology strategy is concerned? Now, there's a whole host of things, and I'm going to talk about them, about 5 different aspects that I want to talk about this morning, and really challenge your strategy for 2023. And in the process, challenge my own strategy with my technology for 2023. So, without any further ado, it's going to be a jam-packed show, and let's get into it straight away. And I will tell you where I am, because you might be wondering what happened to the studio. Well, right after this. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back. Last show of 2022, not 2023, as I said in the WhatsApp. One person picked up that I said 2023. Just shows you how far ahead I am already. So at least in my mind, I would say. But anyway, good morning, good morning. I'm coming to you live from Natal, somewhere in Durban. I have no freaking clue where I am, but I'm here because I made promises 2 years ago. So I'm here. And looking forward to getting together with the Propulsion Pro members a little bit later today, and a whole loads of things happening before then. First and foremost, this show this morning, and I really, it's been a, I don't even know how to put it, like an amazing week. Came back from Cape Town on Monday. Wednesday, we got together with the Propulsion Pro members in Pretoria, everybody from Gauteng, basically. We were 6 or 15 people that was there, and it was just an amazing day spent with everybody. And then drove down yesterday. What a drive until we got to Pietermaritzburg. Gee whiz, thanks for the heads up, KZNers, for telling me that they're working on that road. Geez, it took me longer getting from Pietermaritzburg to Durban than it took me from Krugersdorp to Pietermaritzburg, but that's a story for another day. So, good morning, good morning. So there we go. All right, so I think I'm back. Lilani, if you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up? Oh, yes. Gee whiz. Thank you, Terence. That took a while. So you missed all the amazing things that I just shared with you, which is fine. Let's just skip over it. I'll edit it out for people watching the recording. Anyway, let's get into the show. The time is running out. I was just saying thank you very much to everybody that was at the event on Wednesday, and then saying hi to everybody in the chat. So thank you very, very much. Anyway, so that's how it goes. Lekker Natal, man. Let's get going. Next up, we have Lalani with Current Affairs for the last time in 2022. Lalani, I hope things are working better on your end this morning than on my end.
Yes, good morning, Francois. I was like waving my little wee arms off to say to you, you've lost sound. Hopefully you can hear me. So good morning, everybody. Warm welcome to this absolute fantastic Friday. I'm sitting in my office at home and I am looking over the whole of Centurion. I can see midstream and it's an absolute fantastic day here in Centurion. Besides the load shedding, besides the potholes, we need to start looking for the silver linings. We've got our loved ones. You can still hug someone in the dark. Now, that sounds dark. But anyway, let me go back. So a week ago, we thought the president was going to resign. And we thought, oh, genade, what was going to happen? But now, a week later, he is sitting on his couch comfortably and dishing out public holidays. So if you've missed that the 27th of December is now an official public holiday in South Africa, well, here's the news. It's because Christmas falls on a Sunday, the 26th falls on a Monday, so that public holiday that we then get rolls over to Wednesday, the 27th. Well, let's stick with the famous people. Let's talk a little bit about Marcus Jooste this morning. So I'm sure you recall who Marcus Jooste is. He was involved with the whole Steinhoff saga. Now, you'll recall a little while ago, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority clapped him with a massive fine of about 165 million, if I recall correctly. But that went to the tribunal. So the FSCA has now revised the penalty to a mere 20 million. Yes, so it went down from 165 million to about 20 million. So the FSCA has imposed a revised administrative penalty of 20 million on Mr. Marcus Johannes Jooste, in short, Jooste, for breaches of Section 78 of the Financial Markets Act. It had to do with insider trading. So 1 million of this penalty has been levied for encouraging Mr. Jaap du Toit to sell off his Steinhoff shares. So this was a little bit of insider trading, as we know. So yeah, that fine has actually then gone down. And if you want to see how the rest of his penalty is broken up, it is in a media briefing and a press release that came out from the FSCA on the 7th of December. Let's quickly then also have a look. We had a chat with the FSCA in our normal market conduct committee meetings that we have. And we did ask, will we get the big Christmas gift like we normally get on the 16th of December? A lot of amendments coming through, bills, changes, etc. And it does not seem that we'll see a lot of changes coming through like we normally see. But we have to take note that there has already some changes in the General Code of Conduct that came through. If you missed it last week, the General Code of Conduct has been amended. So let's see which sections it is and whether it impacts on you or not. I doubt that it impacts on representatives, but it is important if you're an FSP to take note. So if we look at Section 7 of the General Code of Conduct, it talks about the bells and whistles that's attached to financial products. So it says there's a section that they've just slotted in underneath Section 7, and it says a provider who provides products or services to a client other than financial products or financial services. In other words, those bells and whistles must disclose to the client that the additional products or service are not regulated under the Act, being the FASE Act, and therefore the client is not afforded the same protection in respect of those additional products or service that may apply in respect of the provision of the financial services or the product in terms of the Act. So this is what we know as the bells and whistles that comes with a financial product. Then also Section 10 of the General Code is amended. This is where it refers to the premiums taken by short-term insurers. They have now also included a long-term insurance policy. So it carries on to say the amendment of paragraphs A under subsection 3, who holds, receives, or in any other matter deals with premiums payable under short-term or long-term reinsurance policy. So that has been added. Then I had a meeting with the new FASE Ombudsman Advocate John yesterday, and he actually, in the discussion, we spoke about professional indemnity. And lo and behold, there actually is a change that came through. So if we look at the amendment of Section 13 of the General Code, you'll see that it's been amended to say a provider excluding a representative. Why excluding a representative? Because remember, you're a representative that falls under your provider's license. So a provider excluding a representative. And then the part that's included is a provider, an insurer as defined in the Insurance Act, or a bank as defined in the Bank Act, must, if and to the extent required by the registrar, maintain in force suitable guarantees or professional indemnity or fidelity insurance. I would have thought that was in place before, but it's not. So it's a provider, an insurer, and a bank must keep in place their guarantees and professional indemnity. And I think it's just the way that the environment had changed from the FSB to the Conduct Authority, because the banking sector now falls under the FSB, whereas it previously did not under the FSB. It now falls under the FSCA. Then another general note that came through, there's some changes to the qualifications and experience criteria for approval as a compliance officer. So if you're a compliance officer online, or you want to make use of maybe a new compliance officer, the compliance officers do have their own fit and proper requirements that apply to them as well. So what had been changed? Well, purely if I look at the appropriate subject list, it pretty much looks the same as the qualification list that we see in the board notice for representatives, key individuals, and FSPs. They need to have certain subjects like money market, money laundering schemes, ethics, finance, etc. The list goes on in the qualification that they obtained. And they've also just published a new list of the qualifications that compliance officer can actually obtain from various providers, and it varies from various different universities as well as the International Compliance Association. So yeah, with load shedding, I can't use my other screen, so I have to just turn my head. So yeah, take note of those changes that comes in. So General Code of Conduct, the amendments is, if you missed it, Section 7, where we talk about the bells and the whistles. Section 10 was amended with regards to premiums for long and short term. And then Section 13 was amended just to include that there must be proper indemnity insurance for your insurers, but also your banks. So I'm really hoping that we are not going to get too many regulatory changes coming through. But like the FSCA says, who knows? And if you've not seen the FSCA's regulatory strategy, it's some awesome reading to do over December. It's not that hectic. I think it's only a 70-page document, if I recall correctly, but it's summarized quite nicely. They moved from 6 high-level strategic objectives that they're focusing on in the regulatory strategy to only 5. But the point that they made quite clear is that the Conduct Authority is not going to wait for the COFI bill to come through. They are starting to put the framework under the harmonization product in place. So you will start seeing some of the conduct standards coming through early next year. They've confirmed that we will see some of these conduct standards coming through Q1, Q3, and throughout the whole of the year. And Francois, with you that can talk about technology, remember there is a joint conduct standard that already came out for public comment. I think it was January this year, between the Prudential Authority and the Conduct Authority around cybersecurity and what it is that you need to have in place from a cybersecurity point of view, seeing that we're all living in the cloud these days. Now, a decade ago, people would have thought I'm literally living in the cloud. Yeah, I'm referring to the digital world that we find ourselves in. People are no longer on servers, but in the clouds. Then just maybe Linwell Clark, who's the head of consumer education at the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, in our meeting with National Treasury and FSCA this week, he had said that we really need to help our clients not to let the December ring lead to your January worrying. So that is from Linwell Clark. We need to help our clients not to let your December ring lead to your January worrying. So that is to help your consumer not to spend too much money that they maybe don't have, and then they run into trouble when it comes to buying school books, school clothes, etc., and they run into a massive liquidity household crisis in the middle of January already. So let's help our consumers with that. And then also, what happened on this day a few years ago? Well, if you're a Beatles fan, I love their music. On this day, today in New York, the former Beatle John Lennon was shot dead in New York. So that's maybe just a little bit of information. We all know he was shot dead at some point in time. That was actually today in New York a few years ago. Francois, from my side, thank you so much for being an awesome person and for your awesome show. I will now continue to listen to your show in the car all the way back to the FBI office. Blessings to you and everybody else online. Goodbye.
Cool, thank you very much, Lilani, for the news and current affairs and knowing what's going on. Interesting times we live in for sure. Righty, next up is Norma, and she is dressed and ready for this particular session this morning. And this is all about how to get what you want.
Good morning. So glad to be here this last show for this year. So I thought this would be a great topic for today. So how do we get what we want? So a lot of the conversations I've had recently, people ask me, how was your year? What is the plans for next year? And that made me think a little bit about, why do some people reach their goals and others don't? So I thought this would be a great topic to end off this year, maybe give you time to think of it over December and then, hit the ground running next year in January for 2023. So let's think about why we don't get what we want. So here's a couple of examples. So we sometimes or often we blame or use excuses about our current circumstance, where we are. So we think about our past and we think, I don't have the right qualification. I don't have the right I didn't have the right opportunities. I maybe don't have the right clients. Maybe I don't live in the right area. I don't know how to use maybe online to build my practice, for instance. So we also blame maybe the economy. We still blame COVID sometimes. So those are the type of things. Another area where we blame or we don't get what we want because of the way that we think. So we have a goal and our thinking is not aligned with the goal. So we want to move in this direction, but our thinking happens on this side. And then obviously we're never going to get to where we want to be. Also the energy around our businesses. We go into our business feeling frustrated all the time. We are angry or we're overwhelmed or have anxiety or stressed out all the time. Another area is where we think we're taking action. We're doing all the busy work. We maybe do quantity over quality. And we stay safe. We don't do those actual activities that's going to get us the result. We stay away from those things where we might get a yes or a no. And that's the reason why we don't actually get the results that we want. So let me just tell you 5 very simple things, 5 focus areas that we can put our focus and attention into that is going to get us what we want. So the first thing that we need to do is to look at our results. So make sure and have clarity around what we want. So for the purposes of this example, let's say my result is that for 2023, I want to create business and I want to 10x my business, for instance. So I want to write that down. So this entire exercise is great if I can actually use pen and paper for it. So write my result down. I want to 10x my business. Now, if I want to 10x my business, that's my result. What type of energy do I need to have to go into my business every single day? So for me, and looking at my 2023, I want to be more playful and less serious in my business. So my energy would be playful. So you can have things like maybe I want to be inspired, I want to be motivated. The next question I can ask myself is, now that I have this playful energy, what would I be doing in my business? And also, what would I not be doing in my business? So then I can go write down all the things that I want to do when I feel playful to create this 10x business. And also, I want to write down the things that I don't want to be doing when I'm creating this 10x business. So the next question I can ask myself is, if I am doing all of these activities, I'm feeling playful, what do I want to keep telling myself on a daily basis? And that is something like, I want to have fun in my business today. So that's the thought, or that's the belief I'm going into my business every single day. And then when I have done all of these things, I want to write down where I am currently to see what is the gap or what's the difference between where I am now and where I want to be. So right now would obviously be then my current the amount that or income that I've earned for 2022. So X for 2022, and then my result that I want to create at the end of 2023 is 10X, or whatever your number is. So this is a great exercise. Once you've done the goal setting, again, this is more of a mindset sort of trick that we can use to get us in this right state of mind to plan for our year ahead, but also plan like the mindset, plan all the internal things that need to happen for me to get there. So I hope this was helpful. If you need any more information about this process, you're welcome to connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on social media. And then thank you for this year. Thank you for being here. And thanks for meeting everyone that I haven't met before the last this year in lunch that we had. Thanks for all the words of encouragement, and thanks for just being here and supporting me. So have a great time with your families, and I hope that you have a beautiful Christmas and have a nice rest. And we will see you back here next year, 2023.
Thank you very much, Norma. Yeah, don't worry. I said to everyone, this is the last show of 2023. So yeah, we'll probably, I won't be surprised if we all get up next week, Friday, and there is no show to do. So that's definitely highly possible. Alrighty, so with that, let me put on some I have no idea what this music is going to sound like, but there we go, some announcements. So the first thing that I want to just quickly talk about this morning is the upcoming things that we've got still going on. There's still loads of things happening at the moment. The biggest thing for us is absolutely PROpulsion Tech. So that's the tech event that we are running in March, 7 and 8 March, and it looks like the 9th of March as well. So just because we added another day did not make a difference in the pricing, and the super early bird tickets are now available, and I highly want to encourage you to go and get your tickets right now. If you're a Propulsion Pro member, then please don't get a ticket unless you want to donate money to the cause, but you get your ticket as part of your membership. For everybody else, at the moment, the normal price is going to go to $395. That is the normal price, or the standard price for the tickets. That includes both days, all the CPD, all the sessions, all the demos, interaction with all the amazing sponsors. We've got so many sponsors that came on board. I'm so chuffed and blessed and grateful for that. So yeah, do check it out now. Like until the 15th of December, you can get your ticket for only 225 Rand. So do make use of that and don't lose out on this opportunity. So until the 15th of December, 225 Rand. Where can you get this? I absolutely forgot to put this on. There's the website address or the link. The link is also in the description here on the YouTube channel. So if you go to this week's episode on YouTube, if you're watching maybe over on LinkedIn, then you can just click the link there. So just check out the description, and there you go. But the website address is propulsion.co.za /propulsion-tech-tickets. So it's a bit of a long one. That's why I put it in the description. Righty, so do go and check that out. Righty, then the next one. Let me just help this music. I don't know. I don't like this music. Hope probably you also don't like that music. That is not very cool. Alrighty, so the next thing that I do want to share with you is that we partnered with Advice Tech, and they are sponsoring a complimentary CPD session that anyone can attend. Usually our CPD sessions are only for our Propulsion Pro members. but they chatted to me, and I really love what they are doing. I think they have a phenomenal product, and many of our members are using the product as well. And I've got direct interaction with them, and I agreed for us to team up and do this. So we are putting on a CPD event this coming Tuesday, the 13th of December. And it's going to be myself and Johan Bester from AdviceStack. And we're going to talk about a single point of truth for your practice. So definitely something that you do not want to miss out on. You can register for this event. As I said, it's completely free. We already have 127 registrations as of this morning. So propulsion.co.za/truth. And the link is also down in the description. So do go and check it out. It's going to be a very fun session, very insightful session. And we're really going to get into quite a lot of things. And I can share with you maybe some of the things that we are planning to talk about. And we are going to talk about the opportunities that are unlocked by a single point of truth for your practice. We're going to talk about the value of compliance reporting in mitigating risk in your practice. The power of contextualized storage. This is the most amazing thing I've come across, contextualized storage. So definitely something you want to check out. And then the integration of a client portal into your planning process, and then the importance of accuracy of a comprehensive F&A. So that's all the stuff that we've got to talk about. It's going to be an hour, so it's not too long. Come and join us. It's with our compliments, with the compliments of AdviceTech. So don't miss out. I'll put it up on the screen once more. So a single point of truth for your practice. Just go in the description below here on YouTube, and you will find the link to go and register. Also posted it on LinkedIn, and also sent out an email and a WhatsApp for this. And on that note, if you haven't joined our WhatsApp group, please go and join. It is propulsion.co.za/WhatsApp. When you go to that, it'll ask you if you want to join. You can just say yes, and you can join. We've created a new community on WhatsApp. It's a one-way communication from me to you, so you can always privately reply to me, but nobody in the group can post, so don't worry, you won't go mad. So do join us. It's the best way to keep in touch. Alrighty. So then lastly, I want to end up before I get to today's session with a very important initiative that is being sponsored by Liberty. It is aimed at Black-owned financial services providers, so Black-owned FSPs, or as they will very soon be called FIs, financial institutions. So I'm just going to play a short video just to give you a bit of a sense of what this is about. So if you are an owner of an FSP and you fall within this category, you can qualify to take part in this 9-month program, completely sponsored, and it'll help you build your independent financial advice business. And let me show you what you can have if you join this. So if you do want to know more, I know that was a monstrous link that nobody's ever had time to write down, or that will be able to get it. Just get in touch with me via WhatsApp. I will send you the details if you are interested and if you qualify for this. So do take, like for me, always the biggest thing is just take these opportunities that come around, that's there to help you grow, help you build something. Grab them with both hands and give it everything you've got. It will definitely change your life and many other lives of anyone that is connected to you. So do that. Righty. So on that note, finally, let's get to today's show. We've got half an hour for me. Well, what's that? 29 minutes for me to deliver this amazing sort of insights from my point of view around technology and how important this is. There's quite a few things I'm going to talk about, and I'll share with that with you on the other side of this. Alrighty, so let's get into today. As I said, today I'm going to talk all about technology, and I think from a point of view, like, how do you know what technology you need, etc., etc. But let me just quickly share with you the 5 things I'm going to talk about. I'm sorry for looking on my phone. I only have one screen, so it makes it a little bit more difficult when traveling. But number 1 is that I'm going to talk about what we get wrong with our technology. So that is a very important point. Then I want to talk about what the best process is to finding the right technology for your business. I'm also going to talk about how to identify the areas of your business that technology can enhance and should enhance, to be honest. And then lastly, the best practice when implementing technology. Second last. And lastly, how do you drive the adoption of the new technology in your business? Because this is often the place where things fall flat. Right, so let me start off with what we get wrong with technology. And some of these things I've spoken about before. Some of these things are brand new. They're not new, but it's the first time I'm going to talk about them here. But one of the biggest mistakes we make, and I'm so guilty, like I'm not, let me just put up my hand and say, my name is Francois, and I'm guilty of always chasing the latest, newest technology. Whatever's new looks funky, the UI looks better, the design looks better, everything's so amazing. And then I go through all the pain of changing or just spending hours and hours trying to figure out how this thing works. Because it's so new and I've got to be at the edge, and this is going to change our lives and our business and whatever. And all of us do that, right? Or many of us do that. There's also the other side of it where you got technology 100 years ago and you've never ever reviewed it again. So there's also the other side of that equation. So I'm not saying that once you've got technology you shouldn't review and you shouldn't look at what's new and stay up to date and see if there's something that works better. But there's a point that hopefully by the end of this morning you'll have a sense of when that is. So the other biggest problem or biggest mistake that we make with any technology, look, whether you're learning Google Workspace or whether you are learning Microsoft or whether you're learning Windows or whether it's a financial planning program or whatever it may be, is that we do not take the time to learn what we have already, like how to use it properly, what it can do. There was a reason why you chose this, and probably that reason was wrong. I'll get to that reason as well. But it is one of the biggest things, I think, that we don't take the time to really learn this. It's like we think a car is a car. You get in the car and off you drive, and then you don't use 90% of the amazing features that made you buy that car in the first place. So definitely something where we go wrong as well. Another thing, and here's the big thing, this is the reason why also technology sometimes don't work for you and for me, is because the decision was based on what the software costs. So there we go, Mark. That one is not for you, but Mark always, he quotes me like often, and he goes, Francois, I don't really like you that much anymore because you told me that the right technology is no longer a cost. It is an investment. But if you base your decision purely on price, then that becomes a massive problem because you will choose the cheapest thing that is not in line with many of the things that you're trying to achieve. It's not going to alleviate the problems, the frustration, and really make things run smoothly. There's some of the things it can do that you're looking for, but there's probably a host of things that's not. And even if it can do everything, you're probably not going to get the support because at a low price, people can't support that product properly. So it is a trade-off. But basing your decision around the cost of something, I'm not saying don't consider that, but it's the last thing. How often when somebody phones me, they say, oh, what does it cost? That's the first question. When I was back at the other company, same thing. Whenever somebody says, what, can I have a demo and can you tell me what it costs? It's the wrong place to start. So I'm going to share with you where to start and how to do this properly. Then we choose technology based on what it can do. And now listen to this, because this is huge. We choose technology based on what it can do instead of what we need it to do. Now, that's a big one. I'm probably going to make a little quote thing out of that. We choose technology based on what it can do instead of what we need it to do. So again, going back to the latest and greatest and this thing that can do amazing things, but we don't need half of it. Or it does something that's so amazing, but it's something we don't need in our business. So then it is not the right technology. It doesn't even matter if it's the market leader at all. Then the last thing here under what we get wrong with technology is we do not drive adoption throughout the business. Now, again, whether you're a one-person business or whether you have a team of 30 or a team of thousands or hundreds, doesn't matter. We do not drive adoption. I'm going to talk about that at the very end about adoption. So definitely something where I see a lot of these things fall flat is because the adoption isn't driven. And some people say, oh, but we do drive it and we have a plan and we have this. So people just not using the system because the system isn't user-friendly. Right. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. I have my views on that. And as you know, I think my role is to sort of challenge thinking and make you uncomfortable sometimes. But we've got to be honest about these things and really see where the problem lies, right? Righty, so that's what we get wrong with technology. The next part I want to talk about is what is the best process that you can use to go and find the right technology for your business. Now, I haven't made this very scientific. I've just sort of written down a few steps that I believe you can follow. This is not the only way. You may find things that may seem scientifically more sound. But for me, there's a few simple things. At least if you do these, you'll be in a much better position than what you were before when you did choose your technology, maybe in the past, assuming that you didn't go through a process like this. So if you did, well done. And you can also share with us, did it make a difference? So the first thing is that, and this is a big one, and I don't know why, but I always think of Jonita Foster when I talk about this. This is about understanding your business. I always think about staying in the helicopter, having a bird's eye view, understanding the whole and not just individual parts of this as well. But so it's about understanding both. But you and I go through this regularly, is trying to understand my business, because even though I know what we do, it doesn't mean I understand everything that's going on and all the nuances and all the things where there are sort of challenges, if I might put it that way. And if I talk about, I guess the question would be, how do I figure out then, or how do I get to understand my business? Well, there's a few things that you can do. You can talk to your team. Obviously, you can start with yourself, write down what you know, then talk to your team. Another important thing that I think we often do not do is talk to our clients. So talk to your clients and ask them about the experience, the business, what they understand you do, what works for them, what doesn't work for them. So there's a whole host of things that you can do there. And then you've got to also talk to someone from outside your business who understands your type of business and understands the technology that's available for businesses like yours. Because that's when you really get value, because those are people that's dealing with many other businesses like yours and have seen much more. Because I don't know about you, but I find in my business that, it doesn't matter if and I've done this right in the last month, start with a blank slate, like literally a blank piece of paper. I go right down, and then it's like, we get back to exactly the same picture as the one I did before and before and before. The longer we work in our businesses, the harder it becomes to really think outside the box and to really think differently and to really spot where we can do things much better. But get someone from the outside, it's so easy. I mean, how often do you sit somewhere and you go like, why don't they just do this? Why don't they just do that? I do that a lot. And it's easier for me to help you than it is to help myself for some reason. And I'm pretty sure if I ask you about my business, it's going to be like that, and you can help me and spot things. And that's happened before. So very, very valuable to get somebody's input from outside of your business, because they look at it unemotionally. They don't know the history. They have no clue why you do what you do, why you do it the way that you do it. There's none of that. So do that. Don't be afraid. Then once you've got an understanding of your business, you've got to map out your needs. And once you know your needs, I'm going to get a little bit in the next section into how do you do that. But once you've mapped out your needs, then you go to market, or you do online research or whatever it is. And it's quite interesting, the process that different people go through. But they are mainly like, you either speak to different software providers, or you start searching online, or whatever is your preference. But that's when you go to market. Often we see companies doing RFIs. So that's a request for information. So they've mapped out all their things in a document, send it out to all the software providers. They've got a deadline. They need to fill it in and say what they can and can't do. Send it back. You've got an overview of everything. And then you make a decision of the short list of people that maybe you want to then talk to deeper and make sure that there is alignment, that they can in fact help you. There is someone that you want to partner with, and then take it from there. So once you've done that analysis and you've then determined a good fit, then you make a decision. And maybe price comes into that decision. I guess it would always be for any good business person. But then you make a decision and then you implement. So let me just quickly summarize those steps. So the first thing is understanding your business. Then you've got to map out your needs. So that's number 2. Then you go to market, do your research, all those kind of things. And part of that, sort of, I think if you analyze and determine best fit, I would only at that point bring in demos and things like that. And then you make a decision. And there's a few things that I'm going to share with you as we move along that you also just need to do at certain points in time. But once you've made a decision, then take the action to implement. And I mean, implementation is a whole discussion on its own, but that's not what today's session is about. Right. So we've now spoken about what we get wrong with technology. We've spoken about what the best process is to finding the right technology for your business. And maybe let me just, I see there's a comment. Let me just quickly see. Hello, Neil. Good morning. Nice for you to join us. I really appreciate it. Righty. So the next point I want to talk about is then once you start understanding your business and you really want to see where technology can help you, it's like, how can you identify areas and what should you probably be looking for where tech can enhance your business? And if I say that, I mean, if I say enhance for your business, it can be one area, it could be several areas, it could be for one stakeholder or all stakeholders and anything in between. So it's really an important thing to consider this. So as you can see, I think, and hopefully you're gathering this from the conversation, is that you have to take your time. Don't rush this decision. Even doesn't matter how hopeful you are of your current system for whatever reason, take your time, go through a proper process if you didn't do that last time, right? And let me just put that out there as well. Like, even if you go through the process, you may still make the wrong decision, and that's okay, but you limit the chances of that happening by doing this. Right. So how do you identify areas? Well, the first thing I think that you need to go and look at is what processes, servicing, things, I don't know, whatever, takes up a lot of time in your business. What is very time consuming in your business? And start there and say, well, let's just say that prepping for meetings takes a very long time. Then you can break it down and go, okay, so which aspects of prepping are the things that takes the longest? Where is the holdup? Like, where do we spend a lot of time getting things right, etc., right? So that's the first one. The second one where you can start is you need to identify areas in your business that are prone to mistakes. So things like, I always think back about this. When I was in practice many years ago, it's almost now a faded memory. Then we used to send out monthly statements to everybody on their investments, but everything was done manually. So on a specific day, whenever that investment started, every month that day, gathered all the information from all the different sources, and then put that into a Excel spreadsheet, put it into a little bit of a Word-based report, and then that had to be sent off to the client. And we often found that there were mistakes in those things, numbers swapped around, or, the wrong thing going in the wrong line, etc., etc. So because a human being was doing this. Now, I'm saying that humans shouldn't be doing it, but what's definitely there is that's one area that was prone to mistakes. So another thing is, if you think about, I hate this, when you go to a doctor's office, you fill in the same form 1 million times by hand. So same information, well, it's different forms, but same information at the top of every single form. And by the time you get to the second, third, fourth, or fifth form, your handwriting is unrecognizable almost, so because you are so hopeful of filling in this thing. And some people you can't read what they're writing. So you are prone to make mistakes when people fill in things by hand, and then you or somebody in your office needs to go and type it into a system, for example. So those are the kind of things that I'm really talking about here. Right, so we've got things that take up a lot of time. We've got areas that are prone to mistakes. The next one that you need to consider is areas that use the same information. So let's just say the client's information. name, surname, date of birth, address, those kind of things that are used on multiple forms for compliance, for example, or in multiple places on different systems. So it's the same information just being duplicated over and over and over again. And you've got to go and sit down and identify all of those. Think about sending out quote requests if you're not doing your own quotes. The same information needs to go to 4, 5, 6 different places. So that kind of stuff. Right. So then also aspects in your business that require a lot of back and forth. Making appointments, for example. Can you do this day, this time? No, I can't. Okay, can you do this? No, I can't. Can you do that? Okay, give me your 3 days. And I've got, no, we can't do these 3 days, but we can do those. So that's a typical example of one of the things that requires a lot of back and forth. So any kind of communication, usually between your office and a client, there's a lot of back and forth. Maybe between, well, not maybe, definitely between you and the product providers, right? Because the service is so phenomenal. So that's definitely something that you need to go and look at and write down what are the things that there's a lot of back and forth in. Go and write those down. And then the last thing I want to share, these are definitely not the only things, right? But these are 5 things, and you can choose one of them to start with, or all 5 of them, whatever you feel up to. But what areas in your business will maybe benefit from self-service? So are there any areas in your business that you can sort of use technology so that clients can help themselves, right? Or certain types of clients can help themselves without you having to spend time or your staff having to spend time. So are there areas like this? And it's not to say that there is, but definitely go and have a look at that. I think that is quite an important point. Right. So we've chatted about the things we get wrong with technology, the best process to find the right technology. And now I've spoken about areas in your business where you can go and identify areas that tech can enhance, right? So those are the things that we've spoken about up to this point. Now, when it comes to implementing the technology, for me, there's some best practices that all of us can follow. Again, whether you're a one-person business or whether you're a big business, it doesn't matter. It's the same process. The levels might differ, but it's the same process. So first thing is that you got to make sure that whatever technology you are employing or that you're implementing and that you've decided on, that it does actually align with your strategy and that your strategy aligns with your technology. Because remember, technology is an enabler. It is the thing that makes things work better. But if it's going in that direction and you're going in this direction, then it's not helpful at all. So definitely important. The next best practice thing, and I've spoken about this before, is that you have to partner with your software provider. You can't do this on your own. Again, whether you're a one-person business or a bigger business, specifically if you're a smaller business, because you don't always have all the time, all the resources, all the knowledge, all the skills right off the bat, and you need help. And you've got to speak to your software providers. Let's just say you've got a short list of 3. You've got to ask these questions. Tell me, how do you partner? Let me talk to some other clients like me that are your clients and find out whether they actually do what they say they will do. But software providers that really care about you will take hands with you and make sure, because it's in their best interest for you to implement this well, and then for your business to adopt the technology to the level that it should be adopted to. So partner with your tech providers, so important. And if they don't come to the party, then look for someone else. Let me just say that as well. Right. So then the other big thing, I think, often you find a system that is really comprehensive. It's a massive system. There are so many components. There's CRM, there's workflow, there's tasks, there's documents, there's storage, there is F&As, there is compliance, there is client portals, there is data feeds, there's all these amazing things that it all does. But the problem is that if you try and implement that all at once, it is going to cause havoc in your business. It is also going to make people that needs to work with us and needs to go through that change. Really, I think it can be, I don't know what the right word is this right this second, but it can definitely be something that makes them feel like frustrated and that can demotivate them. So what you do want to do from a best practice point of view is to phase a system or technology into your business. So decide on, we first do this, then we get to grips with that, then we do this, and you grow that system into your business over time. You embed it into your business over time. Don't try, and I'm not talking if it's a small little thing, but if it's a bigger system and it's a whole thing that your whole business is going to run off, then do phase that in. Don't try and do everything all at once. Then a big thing, if you have this person available, and if not, then you should be this person, but you need to appoint a champion for the technology in your business, somebody that makes it their mission to know everything there is to know about this system. So they will be the first port of call that somebody in your business would go and ask when they need help. So if you don't have like 2 or 3 or 4 people working for you, it's only you, then unfortunately you're going to have to do that, and then probably your tech provider needs to also come and play a bit of a role there. But at the end, that if it's just you and your assistant, then probably the best thing is for you to become that champion. If you really feel like this is not your thing, then the assistant should do that. But appoint a champion if you can. If you can't, then that's also fine. But if you can, it does make a massive difference. Then you need to set milestones to achieve. So you think about the phasing in. So if you phase in, you got to say by this time we want to be here and we want to be there. So it's not about goal setting. It's more about just keeping pace so that there is a little bit of pressure on you to get things done, because otherwise it's just never going to get implemented. So that's quite important. Then put time in. This is a big one for me. It's another quote. I think I did put this out on LinkedIn, but you've got to put time in, and that's the thing. So it's not only the cost. So there's a few costs, right? There's the cost of doing your homework and making a decision, spending time doing the demos, going through the paperwork, all of that kind of stuff, right? So there's cost there, but then there's the actual cost of the monthly subscription fees or annual subscription fees. Then there's also maybe an implementation fee that you will be charged to get the stuff implemented. But the one cost that nobody thinks about is the time that it is going to take for you, that you need to invest, you and your entire team, into adopting this technology. So that's extremely important. If you don't put in the time now, you will never get time back exponentially later, because that's what's going to happen. Whatever hour you're putting in now, you'll get back tenfold later. But you first need to put in the hour to get it back 10 times later. If you don't put in the hour now, you're not getting back anything. All you're getting is frustration and just not a lack of feeling. Righty, and then the big one for me, because this is what we do, but also because this is the thing, continuous training. Never think you know everything. Never think that you've now mastered the system, because it keeps being updated every single month, if not more frequent. So continuous training is absolutely critical. Righty. So that's from a best practice point of view. Then adoption. Now, what do I mean with adoption? Adoption is all about people using the system and everybody using the system. So for me, when you decide on a new piece of technology, there should be no choice in your business. This is the biggest mistake we make, because we do not want to upset. Like if you're an FSP owner and you have financial advisors working for you, I'm telling you today, the biggest mistake you are making is allowing them to use whatever system they want, because we don't want to upset them. We don't want to take them out of production. We don't want them to leave. Like, no. How do you run a business off of a million different systems? Like, it just doesn't work. It should not be allowed. I think it's the biggest mistake. I've seen big corporates move from one system to another because users were unhappy and it didn't work for them. They didn't adopt it. And then everybody agreed on a new system. And then exactly the same thing happened. Why? Because we allow them to use whatever is easy and comfortable for them. That's nonsense. So that should not be the case. I can't see how you can run any business like that. So you need that single view. You need that single system, single entry point. You need control. It's your business. It's your license. So that was aimed a little bit at the bigger businesses, but also take from it whatever you feel you need to take from that. So when that's the solution, that's the solution. And you drive that adoption through communicate, sell it to them. Show them how the strategy aligns, why we're doing this, why this is the system that we are using. Yes, there's loads of things to consider, but you've got to communicate. And then you've got to train. And they've got to play. And that's the biggest thing. I've seen this. People that are way over 60 that took a system and they said, I'm going to make it my mission to learn this. They are champions of that system. There's other oaks that are 35 years old that think this thing is nonsense. So it's got nothing to do with age. It's got nothing to do with experience or knowledge. It's about, are you willing to go and play with the technology? Take the time to play. you can't really break anything, right? So train and play, train and play, train and play. That's how you drive adoption. And then I think a big thing that is also very important is easy to follow documentation. And often we look to the software providers to do that. But the easiest thing that we do, for example, is when there's something that we do and use, I make a quick video, I give it to Anita and Lene, they watch the video, they go through the process, they then write it down step by step. So we have a video thing as well as a quick, simple step by step that they can follow. And that's easy next time, because sometimes you use the functionality now and not tomorrow and not next week, only next month, and you can't remember. Then it becomes so easy to just follow that. So create your own documentation as you do the work. It's not that much of an additional effort. So that was a mouthful. So I hope I've given you some food for thought. And that's about my thoughts on this. So what did we talk about? We spoke about what we get wrong with technology. I spoke about the best process to find the right technology, how to identify areas for your business where tech can really make a difference. Then the best practice for implementation or for implementing, and then driving adoption in your business. Oh, genade, that was the wrong one. Let's try again. So I think it's clear that you can see it's time for a break. So yeah, thanks for an amazing 2022. We're going to be back in 2023, bigger and better. We've got so many things that I'm planning for next year. It's going to be an awesome season 4. So thank you very much for being part of 2023. Wishing you a fantastic festive season. And you know the story. Unfortunately, we'll be back not next week, but next year. Same time, same place. First week in Feb will be the time. But until then, have a good time. Stay safe, be blessed and prosper. And raise the bar. Bye-bye.